Lamar Jackson signed his contract with the Baltimore Ravens. So hours before the draft, they strike a deal. The following Thursday, he signs a deal. And it is a done deal. It is, in fact, in many ways, the richest contract ever awarded anybody in the history of the National Football League.
He still doesn't look happy.
Well, I'm sure he is.
What do you want him to do? Be like grinning with his teeth? Or
I would.
Two things.
The video he posted last week, too, he was just kind of like, hey, have some hype, man.
But when these things happen, okay, when these deals get signed, I mean, there's a bridge and there's all the water that we've been talking about for the previous 6 to 8 weeks or many months, however months these things play out.
It's water under the bridge
Gone.
now.
Gone. History. Because he is there. It is as if the Ravens didn't allow him to go seek a new partner, and he wasn't willing to do so. This was Lamar Jackson at his press conference on Thursday talking about his new deal with the team that in early March he said he didn't want to play for anymore.
I really didn't care for other teams, really. I just really wanted to get something done here. Like, I wanted to be here. It was like, man, okay, other teams cool, but I want to be a Raven. Like, I said some 2018, you know, I think it was April 26th, if I'm not mistaken, and I meant that. You know, I'm standing on that until I get it done. So I really wanted to get this done before anything, before my time up and branch off somewhere else. You know, I really want to finish my career here and win the Super Bowl here.
So, because he did tell Deion Sanders when he was drafted on that draft stage in Dallas, when Deion was doing the interviewing for NFL Network's draft coverage, and he told Deion, I'm going to win a Super Bowl in Baltimore, and he intends to do it. And I know how I set up the soundbite. It sounds like I'm taking a dig at him, but I can confirm in my times of being in contract negotiations, because again, I am comparing myself as the Lamar Jackson of sports broadcasting right now.
Well, essentially, you're the QB of this team.
I appreciate that. Yeah. And so I will just say this, that while I was in 20 years ago this month, I was deep in chats with ESPN, desperate to stay put. And the number of times that they were telling me no, I thought to myself, I want to get the hell out of here. Because they clearly don't believe in me. They clearly don't understand my value. They clearly don't understand this, that, the other thing. But, and everything has worked out swimmingly. I'm sitting here with you guys 20 years later.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. And with NFL Network 20 years later, that I still would have stayed put if they put the right deal in front of me. So, yeah, they went through the ugly side of the business. And now they're through it. So he can't sit there and say, I've always wanted to stay here. But if the Colts didn't get, let's just say, you see that video? Do you see that video of the Indianapolis Colts?
In the war room?
Yes.
Yes.
Where Chris Ballard heard that the Cardinals had traded their pick.
And he was like, oh.
Uh-oh. And then they found out, it's for a team that just drafted a quarterback. Great. We're going to get Anthony Richardson after all.
Yeah.
Let's just say Lamar hadn't signed his contract earlier that day, agreed to terms earlier that day, and the Colts had gone through the draft without him being on their team because somebody else traded up. Let's just say it would be the Titans that traded up to 3 overall from 11 to take Anthony Richardson. Would they have drafted Will Levis 4th? What if they'd gone through the draft without any quarterbacks? Guess who might have been on the phone with an offer sheet for Lamar Jackson? Now, 2 things. They didn't go into the draft with this being a complete unknown, the Ravens and Lamar, because I think they both wanted a deal. Mm-hmm. And number 2, the Ravens absolutely would have had the Colts sign this guy to an offer sheet, in my opinion, if they'd gone through the draft without getting one. But the real thing that I'm jumping out at right now, not to just belabor a point about how laborious contract negotiations can be and now water's completely under the bridge. Now that it is under the bridge, and Lamar says he'll throw for 6,000 yards, he loves Odell and he loves Zay Flowers. I mean, the Odell and the contract were the bouquet and Zay is the flowers. And you've got Bateman and the new coordinator and that stellar defense. Bottom line is Lamar in this offense, just if Lamar in this offense gives that defense 21 a game, 24 a game, 28 a game, oh my goodness gracious. Because that's the point here, is this is a deep conference. I've been at this, as I mentioned, 20 years I've been at this. You tell me when you've ever seen a conference stacked with quarterbacks like this one. There's only 6 quarterbacks in the AFC who are going to make the playoffs this year. 6. And let's just assume Allen, Burrow,
7.
and Mahomes. 7, pardon me. Yeah, right. Allen, Burrow, and Mahomes are going to be 3 of them.
Yep.
Because they've been the 3 of the final 4 2 years in a row.
Yep.
Allen, Burrow, Mahomes, let's take them. That means 4 will have to come from Tua, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Lamar.
Herbert, Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
Russell Wilson.
Yep.
Jimmy G.
Yep. Could throw Kenny Pickett in there because I like the Steelers. Just keep throwing them in there. And all
Pickett, Mac Jones,
and Ryan Tannehill and all the other
and the rookies.
That's it. That's the AFC.
Yep. Stacked.
Somebody is going to go home from that group.
Well, more than half.
Won't make it. And to have a seat at this table. Sorry if we left Mac Jones out.
I said it.
Okay. To have a seat at this table, you got to have somebody like Lamar. And to have somebody like Lamar, you got to pay for Lamar. And that's one last thing I want to say here while I'm poking in your direction a little bit, Chris. How great does that Daniel Jones deal look right now? I just said those words. How great does it look right now?
Not as good as
Dude,
Patrick Mahomes' deal.
$40 million a year.
But they didn't have to. I mean, whatever. I'm not.
They had to. Otherwise, they would have lost him. Take a look at
Who would have taken him?
brother. I don't know. Any of these other teams that were interested in a rookie?
I don't know.
Potentially.
But okay, that's fine. Again, my point will be proven when the season plays out.
You need to have somebody who can be a difference maker, as I just said. If you're in the AFC, you better have an elite guy that's calling the signals, that is not only generationally talented physically, but neck up can figure out what you're trying to throw in his direction pre-snap. Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, they're essentially going to make it. And then you've got Russell, Herbert, Rodgers, and Lamar. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.